Good afternoon, wrestling fans, and welcome to another edition of Wrestle Talk Show. I'm your host, Joshua Zimmerman, here to bring you the latest and greatest professional wrestling news, bits, rumors, anything and everything pro wrestling. We cover it. As we always do, we want to take this time to thank our viewers. Without you, this would not be possible. Without you, this would not be fun. We want to thank you for leaving your direct comments on Facebook, Twitter, and the YouTube site itself. And we encourage you to refer a friend, visit the website, donate any way you can. If you can't donate financially, referring a friend is the next best thing. Visit our interactive forums, anything and everything, let your voice be heard. This is an interactive show, and you can visit our forums at WrestleTalkShow.webs.com. You can view this video and every other archived video at youtube.com/CWE Company, where you can, after viewing the video of your choice, leave direct comments. When I see that there's a comment, I read them when they're posted or shortly after, and they will be responded to in the following video. Whenever you leave your comment, the next video, I will respond to the comments if your comments merit a response. If it's just your opinion on the show, I'll concur and bring it up. If it's information for the show, I may not bring it up, but I will credit my sources in all due respect. So here we go, your wrestling news. President's Day Monday Night Raw for February 21st, 2011 scored a 3.83 viewership rating. This is up 22% from the February 14th edition of Monday Night Raw and is the highest rating for the show since September 7th, 2009. Monday's show averaged 5.86 million viewers, and one could argue that this is because you thought after John Cena's rap battle or after The Rock appeared last week that there might be some follow-up this week, but unfortunately he wasn't there. But we'll get into that in this video too, as to why that's a good thing he was not there. Moving on in your wrestling news, Austin Aries of NWA claims he may be done with professional wrestling after trying out for WWE's Tough Enough and being rejected by World Wrestling Entertainment. After receiving Aries' tryout, WWE did what it always does and scrutinized his background, including his Facebook and Twitter posts, and did not care for how he treated his fans or his non-fans, and they said no thank you. One could also say that they said no because he's formerly of TNA, but no one can say for sure what instance led to this, but I'd like to think that all of it contributed to this response. But if you're basing it on that he's former TNA, it's more or less WWE contradicting itself when it says it doesn't see TNA as competition, but after this past Thursday, TNA isn't even on the goddamn radar. But we'll get into that. There's plenty of time. Moving on. Trish Stratus has been, after debuting again, returning at the Elimination Chamber this past Sunday. She's announced as another trainer for Tough Enough. She came in during the Elimination Chamber and botched a match, and it was an attempt to get her over. Whether or not it worked, we'll see what happens. Hopefully the follow-up will be better than the actual return was. But she has a completely different look. For all you Trish Stratus fans that like the blonde hair and big chest, she is now a brunette, so I don't think it takes away from anything, but after being gone for so long, we're going to have to get used to her again if that's the angle WWE's taking with her, and if that's what she planned to do when returning. This might just be to get her name back out there, to do a little something non-wrestling like Rock's doing with Mania. The Tough Enough thing, she would be training. She wouldn't actually be wrestling per se, and definitely wouldn't have to deal with the road schedule. So we'll have to wait and see what happens and see where that goes. The Raw brand announces an international tour that started yesterday, and to coincide with this tour, WWE has brokered an international television deal in Brazil with Esporte Interativo, and we wish them much success on this. They'll be visiting places like Chile and the surrounding areas before a Monday Night Raw in Buffalo, New York, which I believe is next week. Vince McMahon recently held an interview with the Miami Herald talking about future locations for WrestleMania and the desire for more outdoor venues. He claims that WWE has never held Mania in the same city twice. He obviously wasn't looking at the records, because although separate decades, WrestleMania has been held multiple times in the same location. So I don't know if he was speaking currently or if he just didn't know that remember the back history, as it has repeated in cities, not year after year, but in different decades it has been in the same spot more than once. Interesting news on Paul Bearer. Apparently his return, he didn't actually want. When WWE called him up a couple months ago, he outright told the company no. But friends like Kane and Undertaker urged him to come back. He finally agreed to a 6-month contract. And for all of you that were wondering, Edge attacking him with a dodgeball and marinara sauce being dumped on him entitled him to a bonus check on top of the contracted salary that he, quote, said the bonus alone most people wouldn't see in a year. I believe that. This is just another video maybe, but this is just another instance of WWE spending money it really doesn't have after its piss poor conference call, but maybe we'll come back to that. Al Snow. Oh, one thing before I get into that. Paul Bearer announced that he will not be in the WrestleMania event itself. He will have no input in the event, but he will be at WrestleMania Access the day prior to WrestleMania, and he looks forward to that. Al Snow claims that there is no such thing as a smart wrestling fan. This is after he said people like to think they know what's going to happen, and you can't know what's going to happen you can't know what's going to happen if we haven't told you yet. And Al, I hate to break it to you, but the company you're working for right now, TNA, is so predictable, it's pathetic. So stop bashing the fans. You don't have many left. You're in a company that isn't even number 2 right now. You are barely wrestling. You're not even a wrestler. I believe he's some kind of creative consultant, and why he would be a creative consultant is beyond me. He hasn't done much for the business, and if he has anything to do with current TNA product, then I'd say somebody needs to look over his contract and or reprimand him for a shitty job. Among other people, Eric Bischoff, Hulk Hogan, the whole list. It could go round and round. But Al, we're wrestling fans. We enjoy our wrestling. When your product becomes predictable, it creates shows like this. It is predictable. If you watch wrestling enough, you kind of know the direction that they're going to go. But no, you're right to a degree. Sometimes you like to swerve it, but with TNA, when you swerve things, you just make matters worse. And that's all I have to say about that. Stop bashing the few fans that you have left. there are so many people that don't want to give TNA a second or fourth chance at this point that you lose you're literally losing ratings in your 2-hour Impact. Just take that for example. TNA starts off strong, and throughout the 2 hours, they lose viewers. It's supposed to be the opposite effect, Al. You're supposed to have a baseline when it starts, and you build fans based on what you show. But when what you show has no entertainment value, makes no sense, the second one more important, makes no sense, and in the next week you hardly follow anything up, how do you expect to retain fans? But I'll get into that in a moment. And finally, in your news, TMZ reports that TNA has signed former Jersey Shore cast member Angelina Pavernick to debut on next week's Impact. And really, guys, come on, this is the perfect segue here. I'm sorry. Stop trying to be other shows. You're not the Jersey Shore. Jersey Shore has its own fan base because it's not wrestling, it's reality. Okay? Stop trying to mix the wrestling with reality. It doesn't work for you. Robbie E. and Cookie should have been your prime example that no one cares. Robbie E. can wrestle, yes. You managed to find something there. But nobody wants to watch Jersey Shore while they're watching professional wrestling. And the sooner Snooki gets off my TV, the better. When you get publicity for being a whore, either directly or indirectly, what message is that sending? You realize you have 15, 16, 17-year-old girls that are watching this, watching you whore yourself out, hump each other in a hot tub, and then fight, and we're supposed to believe these fights are real, but then at the end of the show, everybody's back in the hot tub molesting each other. It makes no sense. So, to start this rant, TNA, stop. Get back to what you used to do best. Cutting edge, high-flying wrestling that makes sense. Stop trying to be every other show but yours. Now, I don't know if this is an admittance that you know your wrestling product sucks, so you have to divert to another outlet, but then I go back to my original argument a couple videos ago and say, go back to the drawing board. Figure out what you had that set you apart from WWE and kept you low radar at the same time, while still achieving a steady fan base, and get rid of the things that you've inserted that are making your product suck. Over this last week, I've heard so many people say that they're not giving TNA a second, third, or fourth chance. You've lost them completely at this point. They do not care. When the Pope's standing in the middle of the ring with a pig for no apparent reason, that does not equal ratings. There should be more matches with beer money and Motor City Machine Guns, people that actually wrestle. Revitalize your X division after you made such a stink when it was rumored that you were thinking about scrapping it, and somebody ran with it, even though it was you that ran with it, and then called out the PW Torch on it. Start fixing what you've broken in the last 4 to 5 years. Stop trying to be something you're not. And to get on current events, this past week's Impact did not hold my interest at all. The only thing I found interesting was Bully Ray. You're doing all right with that. Don't fuck it up. It's real simple, guys. You're in the sports entertainment business. Sport entertain people. Don't reality show them. Don't reaction them. Don't explosion them. Get back to wrestling. It's not real hard. As I've emphasized before, simple storyline, simple feud, back and forth, plot, storyline build up, feud comes to a head, at your well-promoted pay-per-view event. And stop saying that your March 3rd edition of Impact is going to be your biggest surprise ever. Because right now, everything in between that is going to be lost in translation. No one's going to care, especially after this past week. Get Eric Bischoff off the TV. He's a great character, but he should not take up 3/4 of the show. You should be pushing your own talent and not things you sign, former cast members of Jersey Shore, guest celebrities. Should not be what gets your ratings. It should be what got you ratings 4 to 5 years ago, and that was your ability to produce in-house talent like AJ Styles, who you buried, the Rob Van Dam title rematch, which you did not hype up at all. You just gave it away on free TV, which you could have gotten a build out of and gotten people to actually, if you were going to give it away on free TV, hype it up better. I disagree with the whole free TV on that match, but you could have hyped it, gotten a couple weeks of good TV out of it, and maybe even decent buy rates on a pay-per-view. This is pathetic to think that a wrestling company is getting its ratings by being something that it's not. This is an outright call out to Dixie Carter. Right now, as I've done before in my Dixie Carter Get a Clue video. Stop being nice. Learn to be a business professional. Kevin Nash should not have been allowed to walk out right before you were supposed to re-reveal they. He should not have been allowed to walk out on his contract just with your approval after you built up how they was someone else and he was a part of that. And then you come on TV and say you're heartbroken. You're a piss poor businesswoman. This man should have been contracted, and he was. He should have been told, we can discuss your release after you follow through with the storyline that's already been put in place. A couple weeks ago, for AJ Styles to have to salvage what Kevin Nash's release did to the storyline is pathetic. You put it on everyone else's shoulders just so you could have this big, happy family. And you want to know what the end result is going to be? Everybody walks on you like they do now. I'm not saying be a bitch completely. I'm saying learn the business. Stop trying to be everybody's friend. Spike TV. Get these people off TV. They're losing ratings week to week, minute to minute. The show's on, it loses ratings. Anything else would have been shit canned. What makes these people any different? You have enough of your own original programming that could wipe the floor. At one point, they had a prank phone call show that took the time slot before Impact that did better ratings than Impact did. No, it wasn't wrestling, but right now, TNA isn't wrestling either. So it's real simple, Dixie. Get into your creative meetings, stop nodding, and start talking. Kevin Nash, already gone. Can't really do much about it, but that's a fuck up. Eric Bischoff, your biggest repeat screw up week to week. This man has a character. Yes, let him use that character in maybe one 15-minute interval once a week. But he should not be the center of your show. What happened to AJ Styles? Do you not care? Is Daddy padding this so much that Daddy doesn't care that no ratings, big deal, at least my little girl's happy? At least Janice Carter a couple months ago had the right idea. I'm not giving you any more money until what you've done with the money starts producing results. We announced the end of last year they infused a shit ton of money in talent that has gotten them nowhere. Jeff Hardy has an ongoing legal battle. He's the face of TNA, which basically tells your younger demographic it's okay. You can do drugs and still grow up to be a professional aspiring wrestler. No one looks up to him except for his ability to put on a decent match. Matt Hardy, that was just your excuse to get another WWE guy. The guy has nothing to offer. The days of Matt and Jeff are done. Jeff has done his own thing in TNA, and as far as Jeff is concerned, he's doing pretty well. Some things could be tweaked, but you won't do that because, as you tell everyone that tries to help you, we have it under control. And then after you say that, we watch your most recent broadcast and realize that you do not have a clue at all. It's not hard. It's not rocket science. Go back to wrestling. Get rid of these Jersey Shore characters that might get your ratings for a week, but nothing consistent. Go back to AJ Styles, the Pope, a bunch of others. You're sitting on a gold mine of up-and-coming wrestlers that you're squashing every time your shows make no sense, but it's gotten to the point where I think you just put it out there and, hey, we're on national TV, so it doesn't matter. We can do this week in and week out. At least we have someone's attention. That's not how you run a business, Dixie. And when your people can actually, a week before a big reveal for your promotion, walk away from contracts, it says a lot about management and how there is none. I used to think it was just Eric Bischoff and Vince Russo using this as a vessel to get back at WWE. Now I think you just put whoever you want on TV. Pee Wee Herman's popular one week. You're probably going to get him because he'll equal ratings for an hour. Find a more solid plan. Find a plan that over the course of the next year helps your promotion. We're already in February and you're showing us that 2011 is going to be worse than 2010. And we're not even discussing Hulk Hogan, Eric Bischoff, all the WWE dropouts that you signed thinking that you could do something with them. WWE let them go for a reason. Become a better businesswoman. Run your promotion. Don't let your promotion run you. As always, you can watch this video and every other video at youtube.com/CWE Company. Send direct show emails to cwecompany@gmail.com. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter at CWE Company. Visit the forums. Let us know what you think. If there's a forum posting not listed that you want to comment on, right under every video on YouTube, you can put your comments, like I said in the beginning of the show. Let your voice be heard. The whole purpose of this show is for fan interaction, and it's time that the fans had a true voice. And I really hope Dixie Carter hears this. I'm going to tag the hell out of it to make sure she does. And finally, one thing that we keep forgetting that we forgot to mention in the last couple videos is you can leave a voicemail, no more than 3 minutes please, with your question, comment, or concern for the show at 267-393-2895. That is the official Wrestle Talk Show hotline, and we look forward to your voicemails. Thank you again for your viewership, and we hope you have a great day.